Do not underestimate the skills you have right now. As a result of individualism, which has become more and more intense every year, it's been caused by capitalism, social media, Western society. Creating anything has become so hard. It's easy to forget the skills you have at your disposal when you are constantly comparing yourself to everyone. It's easy to compare yourself when you see straight away every day that someone obviously has better skills than you, possibly even is more talented. Imposter syndrome is shackling. I've thought about this recently, and a really weird niche example of this is typing on a keyboard. If you go back 500 years, no one had that skill, but now everyone does. And having, I don't know like how high a typing speed it can generally be like an excellent typing speed, but having a having a fast typing speed isn't really considered a talent because everyone can do it. But if you go back 500 years, that would have been considered like witchcraft, for example. Laptops themselves, computers themselves would have been considered witchcraft. And that is a prime example of how comparing is a huge factor of how we see the value of someone's skills. If everyone can do it, then it's not valuable. It's that whole it's that whole quote that Syndrome mentions in The Incredibles. He says if everyone's super, no one will be. That becomes more and more true every day. This whole example of typing on a keyboard, really think about it. If you were the only person who could do that, to literally know which buttons to press, to form a word, a sentence in less than a second, less than a minute. It's literally like which strings to hold. But because everyone can do it, it's not valuable. Factor of imposter syndrome. But because everyone can do it, it's not valuable. That is where imposter syndrome starts. I propose to you that the biggest factor of imposter syndrome is the burden of comparison. Creating is always, most of the time, difficult because of imposter syndrome. It's almost always the main block for creativity. I find it myself, writing, mainly writing, making videos even. They become really difficult when you have someone else watching you, when you have the knowledge that someone else in the future will watch you. And writing too. I could not conceive publishing a piece of work right now. I don't think anything I've written is publishable. How does one bring themselves to conquer imposter syndrome? I'll say this now. I don't think anyone can beat imposter syndrome, but I do think that it can be managed. And I think that is because it is getting more difficult every day. It needs to be managed. I would say that in a society where art is more and more accessible to everyone, especially with AI, and is more and more concentrated, anyone can make it. People can make hundreds of pieces of art, paintings, poetry, music, clothing, baking. It's difficult to make good art if the only way to measure that is through other people's art, through comparing. The way I think people can manage to beat this feeling of imposter syndrome is to make art with the intention of never showing it to anyone in your whole life. And I think one way of doing this is start writing a journal, for example. Write your feelings and do it in a poetic way. Write about your day and do it in a poetic way. There are other forms of art that you can do this too. Anything, really. Make art with the intention of not showing it to anyone. And from my experience, it can become more authentic that way. This method will not solve imposter syndrome, as I've said, but it will remind you what you're passionate about in art. And it will remind you why you want to create. Thanks for watching.